Starting at the bottom left of the map is our StarTale player. He was able to succeed in game number 1 against his opponent, is now in the lead in this best of 3, the semi-final at the WCS Korea. His ideas.
StarTale Putting.
He wants to advance to the final, and he is one map win away from succeeding. To the top right, we have his opponent, the GSL, code as champion. Starting for LGIM, a little bit tired here apparently. He is.
LGIM, Seed.
Yeah, and he actually did mention in the lobby chat before the game began that he was feeling really tired today. So seems like that is affecting him maybe a little bit. We'll see. I don't want to say the last game was a build or a loss. He could have denied the probe from getting into his main, but definitely getting the worst end of the stick there, and is down a game now here against Party. Gets a gateway up slightly faster.
I wonder why he's actually tired.
Yeah, that's a good question. He may have been practicing really late last night.
And the thing is, I could have understood it like a week ago because the weather was really atrocious, but right now the weather in Korea is getting so much better.
It's quite nice, man. I spent the entire night outside last night. I was really happy.
You can finally breathe in this country.
Yeah.
You can go out on the streets, everything's fine, and yeah, I actually love it. If the weather is now getting so much better, I really hope that it continues.
Yeah.
And it's not like a thing for 1 week and then it's back to the heat and humidity.
Everyone's sweat glands can now be on vacation. Don't have to be constantly producing that and making everybody unhappy.
What about?
Well, he scouts in the main, and he's going to even do a little bit of probe harass here. Not too significant. Sees the Cybernetics core timing. The only thing that's left to see now is the gas timing. Parting did scout for proxies, but he has actually since not moved out until this very moment, so he's not going to be able to deny his opponent's gas or really know the timing of his gas. He will be able to get in there and see, though, if the second gas has been taken at all and if the second gateway has been placed.
The timings for both of them are still very, very similar. Also, the amount of gas that they've been harvesting so far from the one is similar that they had. The second one is just now finishing for both players. And we have once again Parting with a bit of an earlier gateway here.
Yeah. A ton of chrono energy for Seed, though.
Yep, indeed. Seed with a lot of chrono energy that he just started using. And right now, we have the second gateway halfway done. Seed so far tries to stick with his guns here. He has the double assimilator right now, so we might just see him once again going for the tech choice that he showed on the last map.
Yeah. It's quite possible, you know. Parting is going to be putting on some sort of similar pressure. Last game he made 2 Zealots. This game, though, going to be skipping the Zealot entirely.
We already have the Sentry now up for Seed, so definitely he tries to go for a little bit of a more passive build than his opponent. And Parting has this one probe still out on the map, actually to the left side of the main base of Parting. And look at that, double gate coming up for Seed.
Yeah, with the Chrono Boost energy sinking into that Cybernetics core, he really wants to hit a timing where he can aggressively attack his opponent with just 3 gateways, and he'll expand behind this after trying to do damage. This is going to force his opponent likely to make a lot of sentries, which is what he wants because that will delay his tech. And if he has teched already, for example, making a Stargate, he will deal with a lot of pressure. This is so crucial, though. Parting finding this probe will really slow down the timing so significantly.
Yeah, definitely. So the probe has been denied. And now with 3 Stalkers, once again, Parting on the map with a very dominant position, but switching right into the robotics facility.
And Seed, interestingly enough, made 2 sentries after he lost that probe, so he's not actually going to be in a position to attack anymore. He's just completely decided to back off, and this means he's going to pull a Creator here and make a Nexus.
He actually pulled those sentries already before he sent the probe out. This was
yeah,
why I was
right,
a little bit weirded out because I actually expected more of a... Yeah, here we go. Here we have the expansion, but I expected it a little bit earlier.
Sentries have like 94 energy, so
yeah, you're right. He has 4 now. He walked 2 additional ones in, but look at this. The Stalker about to die here.
Yeah, he's canceled the Nexus, and now he's got a bunch of sentries which are actually not going to be able to fight this army. Oh, and he misses the force field a little bit, has to use 2. He's scared of Blink, that's why he force field like that, I think. Losing the probe is important because he can't no longer warp up the ramp.
Yeah, he actually tried to force his way up, and it was really funny to see how the probe was trying to pull off a moonwalk at the edge of the force field, but not really that successful. MJ did that a lot better in his days.
I think so, yeah. But he's actually... I don't think I've ever seen a more aggressive Nexus, so well, actually I saw one yesterday by Puzzle, but...
A second cancel!
Yeah. I don't know why he thought he was going to be able to make that work. Yeah, now he can push this down, but he had to cancel it once more, and then he's going to have to replace it even again.
Parting is now in the position where he's building the first Immortal, whereas we have the robotics facility just now being warped in for Seed. So a lot faster, and also his Nexus is faster, so pretty good position for Parting here.
Yeah, he's really put the pressure on his opponent, and the thing is, Seed wanted to be putting pressure on, but since he lost his probe, was not able to do so, and as a result became very behind because he didn't know what his next step was going to be. It's interesting though, as we mentioned, he made those 2 sentries very early on, which is a little bit surprising to me. You know, if you're going to make a sentry like that and use it to defend against if your opponent also attacks, then you only need 1. Ooh, Nexus cancel.
Exactly, he cancels the Nexus. We have another gateway now coming up. And Seed wants to be aggressive here. He's like only on the opinion right now that he can't actually do anything now with an expansion. He wants to hit this 1 base timing with a Robotics Bay, with a Colossi.
Yep, this is something that we have not seen a lot of in the WCS, but this is the situation that arises. Every Protoss will tell you that when you get in an uncomfortable position in the early game before going into the mid game as a Protoss, you will just make a robotics support bay and get 4 gateways and attack, because that's the only way to try to punish your opponent for having an expansion, having some sort of different tech. This is the only way to go, because if you allow your opponent to have a Nexus this far ahead of you, or if you have to cancel your Nexus twice, for example, and your opponent's Nexus ahead of you, then you've got to do something like this. There's no way you can just catch up.
But Parting has an Observer on the map. He did not see the Robotics Bay just yet, but the Observer is on its way, and he knows that there's no expansion. Observer now just scouting for the tech of his opponent. And does he see? Yes, he sees the Robotics Bay. He knows exactly what's coming. And now Seed is placing down another expansion, but this is something that he just can't make work.
No, you're right. He's going to try to use the Colossi now to say, well, I have an expansion late, but I'm going to have the better Colossus count because I just got in your main base. I noticed you don't have that robotic support bay done just yet. So he's thinking to himself, well, maybe now I can have the Nexus late, but have the better tech, the faster Colossi. He may still decide to attack. He may still cancel here. But if he holds up the Nexus, his thought process is, well, I'm going to be ahead in Colossi. Maybe I can catch up and take that engagement when it matters. But the way he's moving out with the probe right now, I think he's definitely going to cancel his Nexus.
We already have the Robotics Bay now halfway done for Parting, and he is just continuing his probe production. I did so a few seconds ago. He has 2 bases. He has the better income saturating, 2 mineral lines, has the extra gas now, the 4th being built at his natural. And whereas Seed has more Colossi, the Immortal count is currently definitely in favor of Parting with 3 Immortals against 1. He's looking at a pretty solid number here.
Well,
and
he's taking the gases now.
Yeah, Seed is indeed taking this expansion. He's taking the gas now and just trying to do as much damage as possible with his push.
Yeah, you know, the 1 Colossus makes such a difference, but there are 3 Immortals, and I think he decides, oh, 3 Immortals, no way.
And no range.
Yeah, no range at all. In fact, he just now started, as you mentioned, at the same time that Parting starts his. And this is not something he can make work. He's kind of so far behind, unless he gets lucky, there's almost no way for him to win this game. He cannot expand and attack like this and not commit. And now he's going to commit. He knows he has to. Great force fields here actually trap some of the Stalkers, and the Immortals are not able to connect with the Colossus, so a lot of extra damage being able to be done here by Seed. Now he closes the distance, takes out those shields on the Colossus.
On the other hand, Parting the entire time. Oh, wait, here we have the Colossus now for Parting, and he's moving across those force fields, immediately crushing them.
Both players dropping force fields that were not very significant in that fight.
But the thing is that Parting was really reluctant to build probes the entire time because he saw that there was no expansion. He actually thought there would be a timing on 1 base with Colossi attack, so he cut down the probe production. And if you look at things right now, in terms of economy, they are actually on nearly the same level, because we have both of them on the same harvest account. We have 47 to 46, so roughly the same, and 2 bases.
Yeah.
So Parting had the early expansion, but he did not really use it all that much because he was afraid of a push.
So it's kind of evening out things a little bit here. Parting has mined more resources in total than Seed. Seed has more Colossi, but things are evening up quite a bit. Double Colossus production for Parting is going to allow him to close that gap, though, and that's where that extra resources got dumped into. The ones that he had with the Nexus up faster got put right into that Colossus production. So he still has an advantage over Seed, and he will even further as time goes on as he's getting his Twilight Council. He's got +1 on the way, something that Seed has also started.
But the advantage is more in the number of Immortals than it is in Colossi, because that will even out in just a few seconds. The double Colossi production for Parting is important, but Seed is already ahead in the Colossi count, so he will have 4 Colossi at the same time that Parting has his 4. The question arises if Seed is going to add the second robotics, because that's of course also something that Seed currently doesn't have.
Yeah, and it starts to seem like he can't afford it just yet, because his gas is so late. He's getting charged. He will take a 3rd Nexus, actually, ironically at the same time as Parting here. This is something that Parting will actually be able to see with his Observer, so it's no longer a secret. He's even going to send a Zealot over here, which is going to be actually immediately shut down. I find it a little bit strange he wants to take this, send the Zealot over here, but he's going to do it.
Both of them going for the charge. We have the first one to add the Templar Archive for the Archons to be Seed, the LGIM player, and now third base is for both of them. The Harvester, sorry, not the Harvester count, but the Colossi count is actually 4-4 at this point in time. And still the double Colossus production for Parting. Seed just now building his robotics facility number 2.
Yeah. And, you know, if you think about the way that things are for Seed right now, it looks like, okay, he's got himself back on even footing, but at the same time, if Parting actually plays as well and holds his third base, he can actually start to be aggressive before Seed and really start to deny Seed's movements on the map. My question will become, you know, what sort of mix does Parting go for? Does he go for a really big Zealot-heavy mix? Does he try to get more of those? Or is he really going to be trying to go all for the Colossi? Because you have to have both. You cannot overcommit to one or the other, because at some point, because Colossi's footprint is so big, the unit footprint, you know, you cannot actually fight with them all at once. They bunch up behind. They're not always attacking each other, even if you have range. So you have to be careful with maintaining your ratio. And that could be one way that Seed catches up if he has the better concave, for example, as well.
Unit positioning is going to be one of the most crucial things in the next fight. And of course, also one of the big issues is here that we will have Archons for both of these players, as Parting just completed his Templar Archive. So the composition definitely an important one. But we also have the double Forge for Parting here, so this gives him another opportunity to get ahead of his opponent. He's getting the +1 armor upgrade way ahead of Seed. And for the LGIM player, he was able to kind of catch up with Parting again, but there's still this small advantage that Parting has. It's very, very tiny, but it's there.
It is certainly there. You're right. The Colossus count now 7-6 in favor of him. And Archon's coming out first for Seed. Does pick up a Stalker for free here. Small little step for Seed getting into this game. Cannon is made for Seed as well, because he knows the potential for run-bys is there. A lot of resources extra have been mined from Parting. You can just see at the top right, 450 to 150. There's just a little bit more bank for Parting, even though they have similar production, and he can use that to maybe make just one Warp Prism and start doing Zealot attacks and things like this. That's going to be something Seed has to account for.
Parting, just after he realized that he was getting on the same level as his opponent, built a lot more Harvesters. He's now 10 Harvesters ahead of Seed, has a much better income, and that's what allows him to get these double upgrades, to get his Colossus production and also the Immortals into the game. And Immortals in this situation are becoming just so important.
That Zealot was harsh, man. He just ran over there and killed him. The deny here on the Nexus, nicely done by Seed. Small things like this will force his opponent to move out of position just to deal with that. It's like a Burrowed Zerling in PBZ, for example, or ZBT.
We have the upgrade started, +3/+3, and still the second armor upgrade for Parting. So Seed is falling behind in upgrades, and he's falling behind fast. If Parting is able to hit the timing here, he will be way ahead in the armor upgrades compared to his opponent. Of course, the Immortal count and the Colossus count is really significant here. 9-9 Colossi, and Immortals are 4-1 in favor of Parting. Really important here. If they actually connect with those Colossi, then this is a big problem for Seed.
Yeah. The attack upgrade actually is slightly ahead for Seed, about 10 in-game seconds. That's not going to be too significant unless he hits that window specifically. The attack upgrade is so much more important than the armor upgrade in this matchup, but because they're so close, unless it's that literally 10 in-game second window, it's not going to matter. And like you said, the +2 armor is really coming out here for Parting quite fast. Now the Stargate has been added for Seed, and this is a critical next step that he is going to have to make. And this is likely going to be for the Fleet Beacon, so that you can make Mothership.
Yep.
We have seen people go Void Rays late game PvP, but that has really fallen out of style recently as people found out the Mothership is actually quite good. Vortex is not just a joke, not something you like see on YouTube. I remember the first time there was an Archon toilet ever made, everyone said this will never be used in pro matches. This is not actually like that important. This is kind of funny. But actually now it's like the center of a one matchup PvZ, and in the very, very late game PvP, it becomes important as well.
Parting, on the other hand, goes not for the Stargate immediately. No, he decides to get another base. So he will be on 5 bases. That's where he uses his resources for. And this will also allow him to get a lot of additional gas, because he immediately started to take those simulators. And this is proving to be a problem for Seed, of course, because Parting will get so much more ahead in his bank, and as soon as he adds additional gateways, and there they are, as well as the Stargate, he can, after the fight, just rebuild his army a lot faster than Seed can.
Yeah. And in PvP, depending on how the fight goes, if your opponent gets destroyed, it doesn't matter how many gateways you have. So you're right in that you know, he needs to add the gateways, and this is something that Seed's going to want to start doing soon. As soon as he gets his base up, which he started now, But if the battle is ended convincingly with the Mothership and all the Colossi are dead for one player and they remain alive, it doesn't matter how many Zealots
then it's over.
Yeah, and this may happen right now, man. If he does not get these Colossi into a better position, Parting is breaking through here.
Oh, very bad position for Seed. He tries to split his Colossi here, and here we go. The battle just starts. All those Immortals doing a fair amount of damage. The Archons are nearly gone, and the Colossi count is still in favor of Seed, though.
Once the Archons are gone, the Colossi can really do the extra damage that they have. Even though he's only 4 supply ahead, it's just so significant how much damage the Zealots can do here. And not attacking the Colossi, but forcing the Colossi. How many Colossus shots were just wasted on one Zealot? I think about 6.
There's actually one Immortal who was on 5 hit points, on 1 hit point the entire time, was able to do so much damage. Seed is falling behind in supply, but he's still ahead in the Colossi count. At least he was so in just a few seconds ago. Now they are both on the same level, 6 Colossi for both of them. But Parting just with a better bank, with a better income, and now with a shot at taking down his opponent's 4.
Now he's going to go for it, and Seed is looking like he's thinking about attacking. He does not quite have enough units just yet. And these cannons that Parting warped in earlier are becoming very important in this defense. And now he's actually finding himself in an awkward position. How will he decide to engage this? He needs to move his Archons back. He's having the Archons attack the Nexus while he's taking hits on his Colossi.
Seed, on the other hand, cannot lose this Nexus, and he's losing too many of his Colossi as well. 5 to 5 for both of them, and Parting has the double Colossi production already started.
Yeah,
he's actually getting +3 armor and +1 shields.
He is, and the upgrades are really showing through here as well. Something you talked about quite a bit earlier, and I mean, it really does make a difference. Seed now down to 60 supply, and it looks like Parting is going to take this PvP 2-0, warping in a ton of units. The production tab says it all, man.
Yeah, at this point, things look grim for Seed. He's down to 52 supply. Parting is doubling his opponent's supply. The 4th base is gone. Parting is on 4 bases against 3. He has all the trump cards in his hand.
Yep. And the last Zealots fall, GG.